What the flying fuck is up, everyone? Welcome back to Kicking It with Caitlin, hosted by me, Caitlin. Episode 10, everybody, yeah! I don't know why I said that. Okay, I am a little nervous, to say the least. Clearly you're just hearing me from the audio, but I have my camera in front of me, and I'm doing a test drive today, and this is gonna take some getting used to, especially because I'm the only one here, and I feel like the break didn't help me. I don't know. I'm a little nervous right now, and yeah, so this is an adjustment period. Anyways, I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Just want to remind y'all, season 2 will be starting soon. So if you have any episode suggestions or guest requests, let me know, because I'm open to anything and everything right now. I do have an idea about what I'm going to do, and it's almost set in stone, but I am always open to suggestions and requests. So you can always just send it my way. Ask me through text messages, Instagram. Y'all know my Instagram, kickingitwith.caitlin on Instagram. But yeah, so at the end of last episode, I know not too many people listened in on that episode, but those of you who did, none of you said any song recommendations. Yeah, no one said shit. I'm gonna let it slide this time around, but don't embarrass me like that next time. So since no one wanted to say what their song recommendations are, I'm gonna give you 5. Number 1, Paradise to Burn by Ocean Alley. Such a good song. I definitely found them through their song Confidence. Just like the song that everyone else is listening to. Everyone and their mother. We're all listening to them right now. I mean, they deserve it, so might as well just give it to them. Number 2, The Crow and the Butterfly by Shinedown. Oh my gosh. That song gives me chills. I love that song so fucking much. Like, that song is going on my funeral playlist. That's a playlist that I have that I am archiving all the songs that truly speak to me. I've already started it. It's on my Spotify that I am not linking below, but this is just a playlist of songs for whoever is conducting my funeral, probably my brother, to play. Because I don't want y'all to be playing some sad, sappy songs. Like, I want y'all to remember me in a good way. So that song is definitely going to be on that playlist. Number 3, Kelly by the Aces. Shout out Priscilla. Shout out Renasera podcast. Yes, everyone better listen to that. I did post that it was my number 2 podcast of this year. Y'all need to get into it. Renasera on Spotify. It's got the cute little black and white butterfly. Hosted by Priscilla. Get into it. Number 4, Sad Sad City by Ghostland Observatory. I believe it's a duo that is based in Austin, Texas, so y'all should just listen to them anyways. Support the city. Number 5, giving me club vibes. Take Over Control by Afrojack and Eva Simmons. That song is so good. Okay, I'd be listening to that song on the way to pick up Emily. Not with Emily in the car. She's not really into that kind of music. But I'd be like, of course, like, the music isn't going like that, but I'm not going to sing it for you, because that's, I can't sing. So I'm just going to help your ears and not put you through that. But yeah. So I am also going to add album of the week, My World 2.0 by Justin Bieber. What a penny dropper. Okay, the reason that I say My World 2.0 is album of the week is because of my first topic that I would like to start on. Some people are Swifties, others are Barbs, most are part of the Bayhive, and there are some little monsters still about, but me, I'm a Belieber for life. I recently watched Justin Bieber Never Say Never, the movie. Yeah, I cried 4 times. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me tell you when. The first time is whenever they started showing the reel of him being a kid, and all it was just so sentimental to see how far he's come. So I cried in the first 5 minutes. Then I cried whenever he was saying, he was reacting to Madonna saying that we as fans took away Michael Jackson's childhood, and Justin Bieber told Scooter Braun he didn't want that to happen to him. And I cried because that did happen to him. I don't know. I'm just like my mom. I cry a lot during movies. And then the third time is whenever Justin Bieber's dad started crying. Oh, I'm such an empath. I was crying and they showed that guy for like 3 minutes and I was like, get him off the screen. I was a mess. And then I cried again at the end. I mean, why would I not? I feel like if you're a believer, you cried at least twice. So at the beginning of the movie, I haven't seen it since it first came out. And when it first came out, I wasn't into media, but it was, I really liked it. Like from the technical standpoint, I did really like it. The opening definitely gave me chills because I was thinking like, wow, this was such a time to be alive. Like, I lived through Bieber fever. Like, most of us who are listening to this, we all lived through Bieber fever. And that shit was crazy. Like, there used to be like millions of people dressed up in purple. Maybe not million, maybe a million, but like at least thousands, if not hundreds of people dressed up in purple for Justin Bieber. Everyone had Bieber fever. Like, and it was back in the day, so everyone had like homemade shirts saying Miss Bieber, Caitlin Bieber. I didn't have that. As an adult, I would make myself that. I probably should have worn that, today. I probably should have made a shirt and then worn it, but I didn't. So I want to backtrack to the movie itself. I looked it up on IMDb just to see what, the film folks had to say about it. Oh my gosh, like I know it's not only film folks on IMDb, like anyone can rate a movie, but fuck those people. Literally on IMDb, Justin Bieber Never Say Never, the movie, was rated a 1.7 out of 10. That is so foul. That is so foul. I will never understand the hate that people have for Justin Bieber because literally he was just a 16-year-old kid. Like, why were all these men and women like so upset about him just being? Like, that is crazy. Like, I remember Baby was like the number one disliked video on YouTube for a long time. And that's some shit. Because why are you disliking it? Like, it was a good song and I love the music video. Like, also, we need to bring back cool music videos. That's where the artsy film people can definitely show off their talents and imagination. Because I have just been seeing a lot of music videos where people just lip sync and shake their ass. Off track. Going back to it. Justin Bieber had so many haters. That was just full of shit. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I just want to talk about Justin Bieber. Young Justin Bieber, wow. Like, can I just say wow? Like, I was not anything near that. Like, my brain wasn't as developed. This shit's just like crazy to me because like looking at all of his outfits, like he was so color coordinated, and I know like everyone has like a stylist and whatnot, but he just always looked so good. Like he was meant to blow up. I don't know how else to explain it. I love all his outfits ever since the beginning. Like, I feel like he's been dressing like a fucking G. Like, he's always been that bitch. Like, he literally has been. I loved the chunky shoe era. I still love chunky shoes. I think that they are a staple to any outfit. All of his outfits were color coordinating, and his fitted hats. Fitted hats are still in now, and may I just say that Justin Bieber's hair and the fitted hat, wow, motherfucker had so much swag. Like, there were people in that documentary from like 7 or 8 years old up to like in their 30s who went to go see him. Like, not 30s as in these younger girls' moms, like 30s as in they paid their own money to go see this 16-year-old boy. Like, Justin Bieber had swag. Whether you like him or not, he had swag. I also want to point out that Justin Bieber wore studded belts. Yeah. Yeah, he was that girl. He was just slaying. And like every different step of the way, like he just looked good. He would wear like the purple chunky shoes, the all purple Yankees hat. He would wear he would wear a white jean jacket, and then he would wear a sleeveless hoodie zip up that was purple, and then a long sleeve white shirt with a studded heart on his left, maybe it's both of his arms. But that was just so fly. And then he also wore white jeans, again, with the chunky purple shoes. Like, he just looked great all the time. Like, he was destined for fame. I would probably say he had that white boy swag. Like, he was the swaggiest of white boys at the time. Like, I wouldn't put Eminem and Justin Bieber. I don't think they're the same caliber of swaggy white boys, but Justin Bieber's definitely up there, I would say. So you don't get swag from just dressing well. Justin Bieber can dance. Not only can he sing and play instruments, but he can dance. Like, he gets down. Literally, I get chills just watching younger him, because not only can he dance, he has an amazing stage presence. Like, when he's on that stage, he doesn't look like some shrimpy little 16-year-old boy. Like, he looks like he wants to be there. He chose to be there, and he's going to make it the best show that you've ever seen in your life. From the outfits, to the songs, to his dancing, to the way that he interacts with the crowd. He's just that guy. So I want to talk about the first time that I ever saw Justin Bieber. I was probably like 10 or 11 at the time. JB is older than me by 7 years, and I so desperately wanted to be the one less lonely girl. I went with my, let me think. I went with, that's what I meant to say. I went with my mom, my brother, and then my mom also brought her best friend's daughter, Delilah. So it was the four of us, right? So I wanted, just keep in mind, I'm 7 years younger. I wanted to be the one less lonely girl. And you know how I thought I was going to bag him? I wore a business casual outfit as a 10 or 11-year-old. Okay. I remember vividly what I wore. So I wore a gingham black and white shirt with a black vest, but the vest was like cut off right here, and it only had like this much of a sleeve. It might have been together. Like, it might have been one shirt together, now that I'm thinking about it. And then I wore black leggings and black flats. If that doesn't scream business casual in the 2000s, I don't know what else does. Might I also add, when I was younger, I used to always wear braids in my hair every single day. Like, I did not wear my hair down. My mom or my dad always braided my hair into 1 or 2 pigtails. That was just how it was. Like, that was just the hairstyle I always had. And for the Justin Bieber concert, I wore that shit down. Clearly, I was trying to get laid. I think that if I wore a bra at the time, I probably would have taken it off and thrown it at the stage. But it wouldn't have made it to the stage because I was in the nosebleeds, and since it would have been such a small bra, I probably just went and landed like right in front of me. It wasn't catching no air time. Like, it was just gonna go. No surprise, I was not the one less lonely girl, and honestly, I cried. Yeah. I had Bieber fever pretty bad. It was definitely, Bieber fever was the pandemic before COVID. Like, you just had to be there. So as I was watching the movie, I was, Like I had my iPad here and I was taking notes because I knew I wanted to talk about it. Because I do really love Justin Bieber. I don't keep up with him very much now, but I did have Bieber fever, as I've been saying. I mean, since I was younger, and I definitely listened to My World 2.0, the whole album, at least once every 2 months, and I will sing my heart out. Like, if I was gonna face death and they were to tell me, like, pick one album and you must sing every word verbatim, and if you messed up, we're killing you, I would have chose My World 2.0. Like, that's just my shit. That's been my shit since I was younger, and it's still my shit. Like, I will die on that hill. So as I was watching it, like, now that I'm older, I'm comprehending things differently, as I should, and as all of us should. And it was just crazy to me because, like, yes, I was a fan, but I didn't ever understand how he blew up. They explained that, of course, he started on YouTube, and then Scooter Braun got sent a message, check this kid out, and then he became obsessed with the kid. But, getting to that point is hard. But then getting to the point of being a celebrity or selling out shows and stuff like that, that's even more hard. So they explained that the way that JB did it was that he started Twitter, and Justin Bieber would go all over Atlanta to every radio station and play his songs acoustically for these stations. Well, then these stations started streaming Justin Bieber. Is it streaming? They would start playing his songs, and then people would start listening. I mean, of course, because it's the radio. And then that is where that seed was planted at. Well, once you get the ball rolling, you got to make sure that it stays rolling. So JB started Twitter, and he started telling Twitter where he would be on what day and what time he would be there, like at these radio stations. And they explained that at first there was little people, then there was a little bit more, and then there was crowds of people. Like, he blew up. And watching this, I want to say it's a documentary. Watching this movie, it's just so interesting to me that before social media, like, I don't know how they did it. I have to, learn how they did it before. But Justin Bieber was found on YouTube. Then he grew through Twitter. And he is a product of social media. Like, that is how he got popular, and that's how he stayed consistently popular. Like, he just interacted with his fans online, and that's the easiest way to interact with people now because it's at the touch of our fingertips. Like, everyone has a phone, everyone can hold literally the world in their hand. Like, and it's just like such a cool case study to me about how he blew up with social media. Like, I would say that he was one of the first of his kind to do that. Because before, I mean, what did they do? I don't know, but that just shows how powerful social media can be. And then, of course, it's developed in this thing that it is now. Hot take. I think that if JB had stayed up with, his fame and his fandom, he could have been as big as Michael Jackson. Hot take. Me and my mother saw Justin Bieber with my cousin Melissa at the Moody Center in Austin when it first opened. And, I haven't been listening to much of Justin Bieber's new songs. Like, now that he's gotten older, he's become more of a recluse, and he's really not into stuff like that anymore. I don't really keep up with him because he's not putting himself out there. And I get it. Everyone grows up, and he's been through some shit. Rightfully so. I mean, he has grown up too quickly in a world that wasn't ready for him. We sabotaged him, but also, like, another hot take, his mom decided that for him, so ooh. So I bring up Michael Jackson solely because I think I already said it before, but Madonna had mentioned I think it was at a tribute to MJ whenever he passed, that we, as in the audience and the fans and the world, took away his childhood, and Justin Bieber didn't want that to happen to him. Well, that's exactly what happened to him. I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, he signed up for this. I would argue that he didn't. Like, It's every kid's dream to be an artist or to be a celebrity or to be a singer or a dancer, do something fun with your life. But Justin Bieber was 16 years old. And when you're a minor like that, you can't sign for yourself. So who's to sign for you? Your parents. And he had a mom. So Justin Bieber's mom, I don't even remember her name, basically signed his life away. I'm sure JB definitely wanted this, but as a kid, you don't understand how large this could be and the potential that you have because you're just a kid. So basically what happened is that Justin Bieber became a full-time working adult at the age of 16 and got his childhood robbed from him. And you know what? I don't blame him for acting the way that he does. I know in the past he said he's really depressed. And honestly, I can't imagine what fame does to someone, especially someone so young. So I applaud him for sticking it through because he's still on social media. And I don't know if I could personally do that myself. I don't know what it's like to be in that situation, but I'm sure it's not easy. And a lot of people are like, he signed up for this and it has drawbacks and he's making a lot of money and he's living lavishly or whatever. But those are all things that are in the past now. And his mom set him up for that. I mean, I'm sure his mom wasn't setting him up for that with ill will. I mean, I'm sure she just wanted to, explore the dreams of her kid and make sure that his dreams came true, just like every other parent. Every other parent wants their child to succeed, and I'm sure Justin wanted to do this, ever since he was young, because there's plenty of pictures and videos of him at the age of 8 playing full sets for his church. So, I'm sure he knew that he wanted to do something like this, but it can't be made possible without an adult, and his mom was the adult. I lost track of what I was saying. What I was saying was that I saw Justin Bieber with my mom and my cousin at the Moody Center in Austin. This is where I stopped. I haven't kept up with him. I didn't know a whole bunch of his songs. I kind of just knew what was on the radio. So I wasn't able to sing along with every song that he played, but his concert was still amazing nonetheless. To me, I could kind of tell in certain songs that he was a little burnt out. I don't know how long he had been on tour when I saw him that last time, but he was still an amazing performer. He soaked up all the air in the room. Like, he just sang his heart out, and he even played or sang. He plays instruments too. He sang a couple of his old songs, and he sang Baby, and me and my mom sang our hearts out, and we both cried to it. Oh my God. That's just like a core memory that I'll always remember. Like, I remember going to my first Justin Bieber concert with my mom, and I went to my second Justin Bieber concert with my mom, and it was just so nostalgic to be a full-on adult with my mom listening to the same thing that we listened to when I was a kid. Like, it just meant so much to me, and I didn't think it was going to hit me like that until it did, and I was like bawling. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm really crying at Justin Bieber, and I'm here with my mom, and like, I don't know how else to explain it, but it was a great experience. Honestly, after seeing him, I do still think that he has potential to get larger than what he is now, but it's only if he wants it. And honestly, I'm sure he wants it, but I don't think he wants it bad enough. So JB will probably stay at his peak when he was younger, but I think he could still get larger than life. Regardless, if you hate Justin Bieber or love him, he is full of charisma, and it's spewing out of every pore, especially when he's on stage. It's almost unreal to see someone just be the way that he is. I don't know. I am like speaking straight from passion, and I haven't really thought about this. Hardly ever think about the way that I'm going to say things, but Justin Bieber, man, he's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up with him and I watched him grow up that it's so endearing to me to talk about him, but I don't know, it just makes me feel happy and warm inside. Ladies, you know what they say. Summer bodies are made in the winter, and winter is the best time to start waxing. Kicking It with Caitlin is partnered with Naomi's Waxing and More to offer you $5 off your first service. Naomi specializes in Brazilian, brow, and underarm waxing. She also offers brow laminations that I know you've been seeing all over social media. Y'all, be fucking for real. I would not steer you wrong. Naomi has been my go-to girl for almost 2 years now, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Don't forget to mention my podcast for $5 off your first service. Don't be a hoochie and wax your coochie with Naomi's Waxing and More. On to the next topic. I want to start a new segment here called Book Clurb. Yeah, because it would be club, but I think clurb is a lot more fun to say. So Book Clurb, and that's when I'm going to go over probably at least once a month what I'm reading and what I would rate them. So here is the rundown of this last month, basically like just November. I read more than this, but this is just what I'm reading right now. The Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. And I tried to read Lightlark by Alex Astor. Just a quick warning, there are some spoilers in what I'm about to say, and I am not sorry because I'm letting you know ahead of time that might say something that you might not like because you're not done reading or you haven't finished reading. Done and finished is the same thing. I don't know why I phrased it like that. Or you haven't started reading and it's the next book, whatever. This is your warning now. So first I'm going to start off with Lightlark. I have now started to read it 2 times and I just can't get into it. The only reason that I bought Lightlark is because I was craving to buy something. I do retail therapy just like most people. So I picked up Lightlark at Walmart randomly one day because the cover looked so cool. Like it's a matte black and it has like this heart on it with gold leafing as a paperback. It's beautiful. So I picked it up and I was like, you're coming home with me. I'm not a liar. I'm just saying. So typically when I cannot get into a book, I go to Book Talk. And honestly, they didn't say much about it. So here's what I learned from Book Talk about Lightlark so far. Here are some of the cons. One that I saw quite often, which was typically the number one con, was that there was weird wording and the syntax was just all over the place. Someone else said that the pacing is very slow in the book, and there was a lot of people also agreeing with me that it was hard to get into. On Book Talk, people were saying that it was a mashup of Hunger Games and Game of Thrones, like a whole bunch of different fantasy books all together, which made me really excited to read it, right? The second time at least. And I probably got like 2 chapters in and I can't get past 2 chapters. It honestly takes a lot for me to try to read a book and then try to read it again because I typically try to like get my money's worth and give every book a fair chance, and I haven't ever tried to read a book more than 3 times. So I don't know. Most of the time I'm reading smut, just like most people nowadays, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into, so that is my fault. This is the last time that I'm going to be buying a book without any prior knowledge to it. The back of the book looked great, but the book itself in the first 2 chapters just didn't do enough for me to continue reading when I have other titles that are doing everything for me and I really enjoy them. So some of the common pros that I saw was that the cover is beautiful. That's the reason that I bought it. I also want to say that the pages inside of the book have beautiful borders. Every page has a border on it, and it is so pretty. Like, if you were to open the book and then flip through it, there's a border on every single page, and that is just, I know that was expensive to print, so I do really applaud that. I just can't get into the story. Someone else that had finished the book said that it is great world building for the second book. So here's the thing. I probably shouldn't say this because anyways. I'm using Reservation Dogs as an example. The pilot of Reservation Dogs was great. But throughout the whole season, I just don't think that it did enough for me. Like, I think that season 1 of Reservation Dogs set up everything for the next 2 seasons. And while that is nice, it just didn't keep my attention, and I stopped at season 1. And that is my fear for this book. Like, why do we have to do so much world building in order to get to the good part? Like, do I really need to know every detail in order to get to that point? Or do you really have to spell it out verbatim in order for me to grasp what I'm reading? Like, I am not sure if this is an adult book or a young adult book, but I like subtext, and I like to really think about books. And I haven't read more than 2 chapters, but so far everything was spelled out. And a lot of other people who have finished the book are agreeing with that. So the spice level, I had to look it up on Google because, again, I haven't finished the book. Google said it's not explicit at all. They had, quote unquote, that it's a bit more than kissing, aka they only made it to like second or third base. Like, that's what I'm seeing. And for some of us, that doesn't cut it. Honestly, to me, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. I'm a liar. I don't know why I said that. There does have to be romance in it at all points of the book. I am starting to phase out of that because of Sarah J. Maas. Not because of ACOTAR, but because of the Throne of Glass series. There's not a whole bunch in there either. But I tried giving another fantasy book a try, and I don't know. I think I'm just spoiled with Sarah J. Maas. Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. This is the 3rd book in the Knock 'Em Out series, and I'll just give you the rundown. The first book is Things We Never Got Over. That's a story of Knox and Naomi. Again, there is potential spoilers, so I'm giving you the second, and this is the last warning. The second book is Things We Hide from the Light, which is Nash and Lena's story. And then the final book, Things We Left Behind, is Lucen and Sloane's story. We have been waiting for this one. Oh my gosh. The built up tension in the first book and the second book with these two, I knew there was going to be a third book about them. Like, there's just no way. Like, they were making enemies to lovers trope. Like, it just, everyone loves that trope. And yeah, everyone does. I mean, it's just enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, enemies to lovers is the better trope. I'm just saying. But I do have one complaint. There are a total of 581 pages in this book, and I'm not done with the book, but it took all the way up to page 282 for things to get spicy. That is just about halfway through the book, and for some people, they're not staying that long. I stayed that long because this is book 3 out of a 3-book series, so I'm going to finish reading it. And also, this book is light purple. It's beautiful. And I love Lucy Score as an author, so I'm going to read it anyways. But that's a long time. And I didn't feel like there was like a whole bunch of tension built up. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, when are they going to do it? Oh my gosh, come on, hurry up. I wasn't like that. But I was just like, when is it going to happen? You know, like I was kind of questioning that it wasn't going to happen and I wasn't going to get the taste of what I wanted from the book. So it kind of was making me nervous. But then halfway through, it finally got to that point. So far, we, as in me, we have learned why Sloane and Lucian have the relationship that they have, based off of previous books. We get to see inside of Lucian's head and how he ticks. And honestly, I love his point of view. Like, this is subtle. Like, this is a subtle mafia book because Lucian basically runs his own empire. And I will say, ready? The villain is still the Hugos. Yeah. I am not really sure how I feel about that. Because honestly, like, I really do love an original story and then a sequel and then it becomes a series. But if you're not planning to make this thing a whole series, then it's kind of hard to write off of something this sounds well developed. And I don't know if she planned to write this in 3 books, but I do feel like we're milking the whole Hugo Empire as, you know, the big boss, the big villain. But also at the same time, I'm not in this for that. That's not the plot that I'm in this for. I am looking for a different kind of plot, if you know what I'm saying. My last book that I have, well, this is, you know, I read the book before. This is the book that I have read or started towards the end of this November. And it is Sarah J. Maas's Heir of Fire book in the Throne of Glass series. So Throne of Glass is 8 books long, and depending on how you read it, this is the 4th book in the 8-book series. So I just started it. I don't have very much to say. I listen to the Brittany Broski podcast religiously, and one time she had said that Selena had to pick between Rowan or Kale, and we just got introduced to Rowan. So I am so fucking excited. Right now, I have left off where Selena went to Queen Maeve's estate or whatever, training ground. I really don't know what it is yet. I have been reading things we left. I can't talk. I've been reading things we left behind as of recently. I stopped whenever I got the book from reading Heir of Fire, but we just left off with Rowan telling Selena that she has to pay her dues and do like housework or whatever, so she's pissed off about to go to sleep, and that's where I stopped at. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've already said it before, I love romance books and I'm a whore for some smut. And I will just preface this by saying that the Throne of Glass series is not full of smut. This is definitely more of a fantasy series. I think this is because Sarah started writing this when she was 16 years old and she finished it before or after she graduated high school, but she wasn't a full-fledged adult. So, I mean, her brain is developed because this is a beautifully crafted fantasy universe around an orphan who became an assassin. She got caught, became a slave, fought in a trial for her freedom. She fell in love twice so far. And all of these different worlds and lives that she's living and continues to live has been beautifully crafted by 16-year-old Sarah J. Maas. Like, that is so incredibly amazing. Like, just to read this as an adult, like, I am a 22-year-old woman and I am reading the work of a 16-year-old and I am like still sitting there like, I don't think that I will ever reach that point of the mental complexity and gymnastics that Sarah has put us through in this Throne of Glass series. Like, I don't think I'll ever reach that point. I mean, I'm not a writer or anything like that, but I don't think I could have ever came up with something like that. And honestly, it's just so amazing. It's amazing in general, and then it's even more amazing because you realize how young the author was when they wrote this. Like, Justin Bieber, Sarah J. Maas, y'all were on the same mental level. What the fuck? Like, what are they putting in the 16-year-old's food? Because they ain't putting it in there no more. Because I definitely was not at this mental capacity when I was 16 years old. So while I took a break and reading Throne of Glass, I still wanted to take in some of Sarah J. Maas. I am missing ACOTAR, and I don't want to start reading it again because I'm already in the middle of 2, if not 3 books right now. But I still want to, be thinking about ACOTAR because I want to read it again for a second time. And I have stumbled upon this new podcast that talks about ACOTAR. It is called Book Talk for Book Talk, hosted by 2 women. Their names are Jack and Amy. Let me say, if you are an ACOTAR fan, you need to get into this. This is what they do. So they don't only speak about ACOTAR, but this was, I believe, like their first series that they were really investigating and, really in detail explaining why and when certain things happen. And it just helps, me as someone who's already read the book, realize a shit ton of more things that were written in the book. Like, it's amazing. I don't know how else to say this, but let me just tell you how they do it. So they're dissecting ACOTAR by the chapters. So I believe the first one is chapter 1 through 4 or 1 through 3. And they'll start by explaining what happens in chapter 1, then the next chapter, and then the next chapter, and then the next chapter. They have done their research. I think they said that they read the book the first time, then they listened and read the book the second time, and then they really dissected it the third time. ACOTAR is a beefy ass series. Like, I have the paperback versions, and I believe they stack up like yay high. They're at least like 8 or 9 inches worth of books. Like, they're thick. So the way that they read them 3 times, I know the second time they listened to them with an audiobook, which I think I'm going to do my second time too, to make sure that I can fully digest what's going on. But each episode is an hour to 45 minutes long. And my favorite part is whenever they give us what they call breadcrumbs, which is clues that the author inserts in chapters that reflect on the future and what's going to happen next. There are so many breadcrumbs in almost every chapter. Like, it is. First of all, Sarah J. Maas wrote this shit. Second of all, there's a podcast dedicated to a series of books that you have written. Third of all, they're dissecting it because it is so fucking clever. Like, ACOTAR will forever be my number 1 most recommended book series. And, ACOTAR is full of, it's basically fairy porn, is what everyone's saying. I'm just saying what they're saying. But as I'm reading the Throne of Glass series, it's no surprise to me that she is able to craft another series that's more for adults. This is her second time creating a beautifully crafted series. Like, I can't even do that in one lifetime, and I couldn't even do that in maybe like 10 different lifetimes, and she's done it in one. Like, yeah, ACOTAR will forever be part of my library. I am definitely running to Etsy afterwards because I'm just not realizing I don't have any ACOTAR merch. So that's going to have to change. But if I were to ever give you a book recommendation, it would 100% be ACOTAR. And if this is your first book that you're going to read or your first series that you're going to read, you will forever be longing to read ACOTAR for the first time again. It's just life-changing. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, the way that Sarah J. Maas's mind works is crazy. Me personally, I don't think there's any good candidates on the 2024 presidential ballot. I think that it would be amazing if Sarah J. Maas just put her name on the ballot. I would vote for her. Everybody who loves fairy porn would vote for her. I believe that anyone who has ever even heard her name would vote for her. So maybe she should just be our president for 2024 through 2028. That's just a suggestion. I'm going to start talking about Adventure Time. Oh my gosh. I love Adventure Time. So I started watching this every night before I go to sleep. And honestly, the show is extremely complex, but it also is comprehensible for a child. Yeah, that is an amazing thing to be able to say all in one sentence, but it's true. I would argue that it's true. I mean, I'm going to argue that it's true. So I want to talk about some Adventure Time theories that I found. I did my research. I did my research for this episode, actually. I watched the JB documentary / movie, whatever you want to call it. I looked up reviews on Lightlark. And I've been digging into Adventure Time theories. What? Don't ever say I don't try hard for my podcast, because yeah, suck my dick. Anyways, so the first Adventure Time theories, if not the most popular one, is that Finn is in a coma. Okay? So Finn is a kid in our world, and he's in a coma, and the show takes place inside of Finn's head. I don't find any of these theories to be hard. I don't think any of these theories are hard to believe, but honestly, I don't know what I was going to say. Yeah, if not most, no, if not all, but most of these theories are really easy to believe. One twisted dark side to this theory is that the reasoning for the coma was because Jake died IRL, and Jake was Finn's only friend, and he tried to commit, and he failed, and it put him into this coma that we're experiencing through Adventure Time, the cartoon. That is some dark shit. I highly doubt that that is true. The second part, this last part that I just read. And even if it is, I don't think that the creators would admit it. Okay, I'll be honest. I think the Finn being in a coma one is pretty popular. But another really popular one is that this is my favorite one, actually, is that Adventure Time is an alternate end to the Cold War. I'm not going to get into countries and areas that each Adventure Time character is supposed to be. I'm going to skip over that. But I believe it's season 5, I think. I may be wrong. Don't quote me. We are shown, at the end of season 4, that's what it was. We're shown that there was something called the Great Mushroom War. Okay? And when the Great Mushroom War was happening, Ice King was still Simon, and Marceline was a kid. So if you didn't know, Simon is who Ice King was before putting on the crown. So Adventure Time explains that Simon is just some regular guy, and he's in love with a woman named Betty. And one day he puts on, the Ice King crown, and it makes him go like batshit crazy, and it turns him into someone completely different. And yeah, so in season 5, there is an episode where Marceline is playing basketball with Finn and Jake, and the Ice King is there. I think one of them, Finn or Jake, says, like, why did you even invite him? And Marceline tells their story. So the story is that when Marceline was a kid, after the Great Mushroom War, Simon was just transitioning to the Ice King, and it was only them two. So Simon treated Marceline like his own child, which there are thousands of other theories about that in general. But in the episode, Marceline is sick and Simon wants to get her chicken noodle soup. Well, they're in an area that's supposed to be post-apocalyptic California. And in that area, it's infested with all these mutated people, monsters, whatever they are. So, a theory is that when the bomb hit on the Great Mushroom War, everybody mutated. And if they didn't mutate into something, they became these nuclear like zombies. Ice King was able to stay like Simon because he had the crown on. There's many theories about how Marceline came to be that way, but it just doesn't add up to the theory that I'm talking about now. In the theory of, this is an alternate end to the Cold War, people are saying that had there been more nuclear weapons used, Adventure Time would have been our real life. Like, we would have mutated and the world would have been infected with all these different things and people and monsters, and we would have just had to live with it. So that is one of my favorite theories. Because it's kind of weird. Because if you think about it, like, they were explaining that Slime Princess... Okay, I'm going to stop myself there because there's another theory. Actually, no. So within the theory of it being the Cold War and it being after the nuclear bombs have hit, within that theory, the theory is that everyone is a mutation of some sort from the bomb. So, for example, Flame Princess, a woman was too close to the flames. She became Flame Princess. Bimo is actually a boy stuck in his favorite video game. Slime Princess melts it down into slime. And the Candy Kingdom, there's a whole kingdom of candy people because those candy people were people who worked in a candy factory. Another popular one that I see is that Princess Bubblegum is a sociopath. I'm going to say a lot of things that are from articles, and PB being a sociopath, this is all taken from the same article, so I am in no means saying that I came up with all these. Like, I'm just reading from an article right now. Her being a sociopath is explained in multiple different ways. These are some key points that I want to point out that could help draw those conclusions. PB is highly intelligent. She is always in the lab. She always creates the solutions to crazy problems that Finn and Jake are having. Like, she is too intelligent. Like, she's just too smart to be on this world. Also, once this was pointed out, I could see it. Princess Bubblegum, whenever she's caught in a lie, she doesn't say sorry, and she doesn't seem like she feels much remorse, or she doesn't feel bad about being caught in that lie. She's a pretty sly gal. Like, she doesn't share very much of her emotions, and for the most part, she stays the same, like, feeling wise the whole way through. There is a couple times where she gets angry, but she like composes herself right afterwards. Another one that became really apparent after I read it was that she is always scheming. I don't think that there is an episode where PB is doing something that's not for her benefit. Anytime that we see her, she is doing something for her kingdom, or she's experimenting to fix something or do something for fun for herself. Like, there is always a reason she is doing something, and it's never not for herself. Another thing that was pointed out is that, these things that she's doing, she is always experimenting. So, she made that zombie outbreak in Candy Kingdom, and then she made the cure. So she's experimenting on her own people. Oh, I thought I saw something move outside my window. Ooh, kukui. And then my prime example of experimentation is lemon grab. if you didn't know, PB made lemon grab. She made the lemon grabs. And they're batshit crazy lemon people. Like, she made them. And that's like one of the things that she's owned up to. But I think she has a dark reasoning as to why she made them. Because why are you making people PB? Just a thought. So now that I've pointed out all those different quirks and reasons that make PB herself, one article painted this picture perfectly. PB could be the next Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter is extremely intelligent. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but based off the clips, like, he is disgustingly, like, intelligent, and PB gives me those vibes. I also think now that Princess Bubblegum is really creepy after reading these theories, because now, like, when you watch her, she's always doing something. I have my own theory that PB made Bounce House Princess and Princess Princess, because why did those two princesses randomly pop up in the middle of season 5? Why haven't they been here from the beginning? Every other princess has. Another theory that I saw was that PB is a mad scientist that made herself bubblegum to survive the nuclear mushroom war. Yeah, random, sorry. Okay, I really like this one, and I honestly get it because in my script writing class, we are writing a D&D script, and I haven't never played D&D. I knew of it, but I didn't really know what it was. And now that I know, also I feel woke because I know what D&D is. But the next theory is that Adventure Time is a game of D&D that's played between a father and a son. The father is Jake and the son is Finn. Finn is the main character because the younger son is meant to learn morals and the way of life through this D&D game. I would argue that towards the later seasons, Jake doesn't really step in and what Finn does or decisions that he makes. Like, for example, whenever Finn is in love with Flame Princess, Jake stays home and cooks. Like, he is just minding his own business. Now, may that be for one episode? Maybe, because I'm not done with the whole series. But I think it makes sense to me. Like, it honestly makes perfect sense because D&D is a crazy world and anything can happen. And there is one episode where Finn and Jake basically play D&D and Jake is not allowed to lose or else he gets really upset and Finn lets him win. But I think that was just another jab at D&D, if not to make it more apparent to us that we're watching like a big game of D&D. I also do want to point out that the Enchiridion looks like the D&D handbook. So there's another one. This one was really gross to me. So Jake Jr.'s face. Jake and Lady Rainicorn had 5 children and they were unicorn puppies. It was 1 episode long and they grew up all in that 1 episode. But there was one puppy who they named Jake Jr. that didn't have a face. It was just like wrinkled with no eyes. And there's a theory that it's because of Ricardio. So in the previous episode, before Lady Rainicorn has her babies, Princess Bubblegum goes to find Finn and Jake, and it is a trap to lure Princess Bubblegum in, and the way that PB gets inside of this trap is by flying on Lady Rainicorn. Well, Ricardio picks her up and twists her into a knot. And since it was the previous episode, people are saying that Lady Rainicorn was pregnant. So that's why Jake Jr. has a wonky face. That honestly makes me feel really weird. I don't like that. I didn't like seeing Jake Jr. with no face. It was pretty gross to me, in my opinion. Next theory is that every episode is Simon telling Marceline a bedtime story. Whenever Marceline and Simon are together in the post-apocalyptic series in between their present and their past, Simon is, making sure that Marceline is having a good time because she's a kid. And I believe he like is telling her a story, singing her songs, and just making sure she's having a good time. And then the argument is that things progressively get more and more crazy because Simon has developed into the Ice King, which is why like some episodes are like completely batshit crazy. And he has shown us older Marceline and older himself because he's, embodying the Ice King. Honestly, this is like the most endearing theory. Simon called his lover Betty princess before he got completely consumed by the crown. So that is why Ice King is always looking for his princess. He's looking for Betty. This theory, I really like it because it makes me feel less weird watching Ice King trying to capture all the princesses, and it has helped me sleep at night. I will say, it has helped me sleep at night. Yesterday, whenever I watched Adventure Time and then went to bed, I got a full 8 hours because it wasn't as weird to watch Ice King try to swoon all these princesses. Because in reality, he's just looking for Betty, and I think that's really cute. So that is going to do it for today's episode. Basically, it was full of all my fandoms. Yeah. So if you stay to watch this long, I'm saying watch because, again, I'm on my camera today and I am recording. Just trying to make sure I make the adjustment period, go by a little faster. Make sure that I'm ready for season 2. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for staying this long, and I hope you enjoyed the theories and my recommendations and listening to me jabber on about JB. I'm getting really excited for season 2. I've got the camera that I'm recording on now. I got the second microphone. I talked it through with my professor Chris for 2 hours the other day. He literally sat there and listened to me talk for 2 hours and gave me some really good advice. So I can't wait to use that advice. Shout out Chris. I also do want to say thank you to everyone who sent me their Spotify Wrapped. I know I just started my podcast and most of you guys are my friends, but I don't expect anyone to listen to my podcast, and it is so amazing to see me being listed as anyone and any number on your list of podcasts. Like, it is so cool. Like, I'm just getting more and more excited as this continues on. Like, the Spotify Wrapped is just like a cherry on top because we're already going to start filming for season 2 here in December. And I'm working on the studio. Things are, starting to look my way. And it's just, I'm snowballing and I'm becoming this big, colorful, glitter-filled, rainbow sparkle snowball. And I am just so ready to see where this podcast goes. I just have so much excitement for the future. So there will be Instagram shorts of this podcast on my Instagram because that's where you post Instagram shorts at, So you'll be able to see my face. You'll be able to see Dedenne. Eric got me this Dedenne, and he's going to live on this couch. And I also have a Togepi that's also going to live on this couch for the rest of their lives, which will be forever since they're not real. But yeah, you get to see my bare wall. You get to see me slouched over in my Spy Family hoodie. Pullover. I'm wearing my blue light glasses, and I've got Kirby headphones on. Yeah, it's not really a vibe yet, but we're definitely in the trial period, and since you've been listening to me grow throughout the season, you might as well just watch me grow visually as well. So you can catch those shorts at Kicking It with Caitlin on Instagram. It's kickingitw.caitlin if you want to see what I got cooking over here. Thank you guys for listening to this week's episode, and I will see you next week. Bye.